the first set of drivers are primed and ready to go out on circuit. It's a shorter, quick-fire session of heats throughout the course of the day before things get elongated from far and wide to come along. So we have Lithuania, Latvia, the United Kingdom, Finland, Estonia. We also have some local talent as well from here in Spain. Very, very interesting qualifying session yesterday afternoon for all classes. It was a 5-minute encounter of the 1,508. So in terms of the prizes up for grabs here this weekend at the Rotax season for the first 3 rounds, the winner of the Winter Cup this weekend will have a free entry for all 3 races. So that'll be rounds 1, 2 and 3. The runner-up will receive a free entry. It will take place at Le Mans Karting International Circuit in the last week of July. And then the driver that finishes 3rd on the rostrum this weekend. But we're going to have a few more classes this year. Project T20 returns at the opening round at Genk and will be with us for the 2nd season of competition last year. So we'll have both a senior and a junior class for the first 3 rounds of the championship. So now it's the calm before the 7 minutes plus an additional lap. And with lap times in the sharper end of the grid, we're in the lower part of the post-qualifying yesterday. Around about 0.6 of a second separated those drivers. We have to also say a big thank you for everyone that's been able to make it out here. We did have in the region of close to 190 registrations, but obviously some drivers unable to make it for differing reasons. However, we do have some great racing in prospect over the course of the 2 days of action, which will conclude at around about 3:15 tomorrow afternoon, and then we will crown our Winter Cup champions for 2022. So the green light at the end of the pre-grid flashes for the first time for 18 races here today as we kickstart the 2022 Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup. Let's have a look at the starting grid. So on pole position, it's a homegrown hero. That'll be Nicolas Garcia, followed by Great Britain's Rory Armstrong, who will line up alongside on the front row. And it's Boaz Maximoff and Jeremy Roivers representing the Netherlands and Spain respectively. Albert Friend from Great Britain, Nikita Zhubimov from Estonia, the latter being last year's Micromax Grand Finals champion in Bahrain. They are on row number 3. Nikita Nikishov and Kasper Nissen from Spain and Denmark, row 4. Completing the top 10, it's Max Cuthbert from Great Britain and Ivan Gonzalez from Spain. Jagrat Victoria from India and Felipe Reyes from the Netherlands, that's row 6. Ryan Bourguignon, mechanic by Trafalgar's own Matty Higgins, is in 13th and has Christian Stefanov from Great Britain alongside. Marcel Zebo from Hungary is joined by Jensen Schork on row number 8. Bruno Greyling from Spain and Adrian Tions from Latvia, that's row number 9. And completing the top 20 is Hugo Fuentes Luque from from Spain, and Marius Karasiaukas from Lithuania. Jaden Sherwood making his first trip overseas in 21st, and will have Tom Strele alongside the Latvian on the outside of row number 11, and completing the 12th and final row, completing 24 drivers in total. Enzo Riccio from Finland and Alex Menezes from Latvia. The race will take be over a duration of 7 minutes, plus an additional lap. And still remembering when I first ventured here to commentate 2 years ago, for when we ran our first Winter Cup, the elevation changes from turn 1, up the crest of the hill, down the very, very deep technical part, through into the infield part of the circuit, is still as fascinating as it was 2 years ago, and we are pleased to be back. So the drivers will have to get into a 2x2 rolling start formation. The wait is finally over. Into the tram lines we go. Full start has been called. Race director not happy with that formation. A couple of stragglers at the back, so we are going to go around for another formation lap. So once again, the anticipation builds. The tension you can cut through with a hot knife through butter. This is going to be the first part of that building block, that foundation, to make a push towards getting on to the top step of the podium. And all of these drivers are hungry for that opportunity to be there when it matters the most. Now, Nicolas Garcia-Diaz and Rory Armstrong starting to bring the field together. So 7 minutes have been reset on the timer. And this is all the hard work that's been put through in the winter. This is the first race these drivers will have competed in this season. The weather has changed overnight. Now the formation looks a lot tidier. 7 minutes on the clock, plus an additional lap. Nicolas Garcia-Diaz and Rory Armstrong bring them into the tram lines. Revs rise. We are now lights out and racing, and it's the hurtle down to turn 1 for the first time. Rory Armstrong sweeps to the outside as they go through. As one driver's already gone off at the exit around the outside of turn number 1. But Nicolas Garcia-Diaz has got Boris Maximov behind. Rory Armstrong in third position as they climb the steep ascent up the hill towards the crest of it. And then here's where the roller coaster starts, ladies and gents, because we've got a train of 5 carts, a move trying to be attempted for 8th position. Doesn't quite work out as they make their way through down into the tight left-hander that brings them onto the midfield straight away. So Garcia-Diaz leads from Maximov, Armstrong in third. As they make their way through into the far part of the circuit. Yet to cross the timing beam, and Boris Maximov is looking to go towards the outside side to sweep through. And there is a move for third place, and it looks like it could have been Albert Friend that's gone up the inside of Rory Armstrong to take P3. Out of the final corner they come, through into the completion of lap number 1. Garcia-Diaz leads. Boris Maximov, Albert Friend, Rory Armstrong, Nikita Nikishov, Jeremy Roivers round out the top 6. And the top 5 have broken away to the tune of about nearly 0.6 of a second. As Maximov goes for the lead up the inside of Garcia-Diaz, and then round the outside goes Albert Friend. Nice move there from the 191 from Great Britain. Down the hill they come again. And Maximov is the one now leading the pack. It's been a difficult start for Nikita Zhubimov from Estonia. The 112 now drops down to 21st position. We'll have to make some positional increases over the next 5 minutes plus an additional lap. As Maximov leads them through into the end of the second sector. And now the move happens. Up the inside goes Albert Friend for the lead. And the 191 from Great Britain takes it. Maximov coming under pressure from Garcia Diaz. Rory Armstrong has dropped to 5th position as Nikita Nikishov from Spain now up into 4th place. On to lap number 3. Through into the sweeping right-hander at turn 1. They start to power up the hill. Friend leads from Maximov. Garcia Diaz in 3rd. Nikishov, Armstrong, Reuters, Max Cuthbert in 7th. Marcel Zibo from Hungary now up into 8th ahead of Morocco's Ryan Bourguignon. Kasper Nissen from Denmark completes the top 10, covered by 2.5 seconds at this moment. 4 minutes and 10 seconds plus an additional lap still remains. Albert Friend is getting away to the tune of about 6 kart lengths as Garcia Diaz lining up a move on the inside and gets through past Maximov to take 2nd position. Now does the old think gesture on the right-hand side of the helmet just to say, look, let's just go after the leader. And now Albert Friend is starting to pull away. That gap could be the best part of nearly 0.2 of a second. A little bit of assisting there from Maximov on Garcia Diaz as the Dutch driver tries to get through. We now hit the halfway point of the race. 3.5 minutes to go plus an additional lap. And Albert Friend has got a lead of nearly 0.3. Back up the hill through turn 1, through 2. Now into the sweeping left here at 3. And it tightens back onto itself. Garcia Diaz and Maximov keeping themselves in the fight. Nikishov still sitting from what I just last saw, was in 4th position, but that might have changed as they come down the hill once again. Top 3 have now got a considerable breakaway. Now that is the 166 of Rory Armstrong, who's now followed by Jeremy Roivers. And the 134 of Max Cuthbert has also made up a position. So the big question is, what has happened to Nikita Nikishov? He might have dropped down a couple of positions, but we'll find out once the next lap is completed. Garcia Diaz now putting the pressure on to Albert Friend for the lead of the race as they come out of the final corner. We complete lap number 4 and Friend has a slender advantage. It's now just over a 10th. Garcia Diaz. And Nikishov has tumbled down the order. But Albert Friend soaking up the pressure like a sponge from Nicolas Garcia Diaz at this particular moment. 2 minutes to go plus an additional lap. Albert Friend holding on to a very, very slender lead, if that, as they come down the hill. So down the straightaway in the middle part of the track, through into the next left-hander they go. And Albert Friend concentrating on where he needs to position the kart, looking forward, not looking back, because that could give Nicolas Garcia Diaz. Takes a look over the left and then the right shoulder. Garcia Diaz sweeps to the outside. Friend takes the inside line on the apex to keep defensive. Out of the final corner once again. We're about to complete lap 5. On to lap 6. Look over the left shoulder from Albert Friend as they head up into turn 1. Garcia Diaz is with the 191 from Great Britain. Maximov is still keeping with them. Garcia Diaz gets the nose in there, but has to wait. And now Maximov is with them. And the fastest lap of the race so far is by the current leader. There's a yellow flag on the middle part of the technical part of the circuit going up the hill. There's a kart to the side, and that is Nikita Nikishov, I'm afraid, out of the race. The number 120 started on the inside of row number 4, and the first heat has not gone well. So we're coming into the last 30 seconds of the race itself, and Albert Friend still holding on. 191 from Great Britain through into this very sweeping right-hander after a long straightaway, which has a bit of a right-hand kink into it. The battle between Rory Armstrong and Jeremy Roivers is carrying on. The Spaniards got through on the Brit. So the timer is counting down, and now we hit 0. After this, one more lap remains, so it's just over a lap and a bit still to go. as Boaz Maximov has got through on Nicolas Garcia Diaz for second position. And Garcia is returning the favour up the top of the hill. The pair going side by side, and Garcia Diaz has gotten through. But that has given Albert Friend the opportunity he needed to pull away. So we'll have one more lap to go after this. An enticing battle at the front of the field. Down the order, a little bit further back, Jeremy Roivers is still fending off the advances of one Rory Armstrong in the 166. So the top three, bit of a move there from Garcia Diaz, who takes the lead, and Albert Friend gets the switchback. The pair side by side as we go on to the final lap. Albert Friend nudges ahead, and Maximov up the inside of the Spaniard, through into the approach into turn one on the 130, gets through. Great anticipation there from Boaz Maximov. But time and corners are fast running out for this trio here. Garcia Diaz sweeps to the outside to get a bit more momentum to run towards the top of the hill. And now they go down it. Down into the right-hand sweeper. And then hard on the brakes very, very shortly. Through into the tight left, onto this mid-part straight. And both Friend and Maximov take a look over their left shoulders, respectively, into the next left-hand hairpin. Albert Friend has still got a lead, probably to the tune of about 2 kart lengths. But after this straightaway, we have 3 more corners to go. Maximov could go for an opportunity here, but might wait and chance it out of the final corner. We're about to find out what transpires. Out of the final turn, the checkered flag now waves, and it is Great Britain's Albert Friend that takes the opening heat here at Karting Campillos ahead of Boaz Maximov. The winning margin, 71 thousandths of a second ahead of Boaz Maximov from the Netherlands. Nicolas Garcia Diaz, who was on pole position, stayed in the lead, but then it was the likes of Boaz Maximov and Albert Friend that managed to get themselves past, and the Spaniard has to settle for third. It was a Spanish 3-4, courtesy of Jeremy Roivers, with Rory Armstrong, who started on the front row, managing to secure 5th at the end of that race. A good showing from Max Cuthbert, who started 9th, finished in 6th. Marcel Zebo from Hungary in the 178 started 15th and ended up 7th ahead of Morocco's Ryan Bourguignon in the 109. Casper Nissen in the 108 from Denmark finished ahead of Jagrat de Troya from India in the 102, and they completed the top 10. Jensen Chalk and Jaden Sherwood both also made up positions. Jensen Chalk finished in 11th, and Jaden Sherwood started 21st, finished in 12th position ahead of Felipe Reyes from the Netherlands, Ivan Gonzalez Elul from Spain, Tom Strelec from Latvia rounding out the top 15. Nikita Zhubimov from Estonia in 16th ahead of Christian Stefanov, Bruno Greling, Adrian Zions, Hugo Fuentes Luque, Enzo Riccio from Finland, Marius Karsiaukas from Lithuania, and Latvia's Alex Meneses being the last of the 23 drivers that made it to the finish, and unfortunately a retirement for Nikita Nikishov from Spain on lap number 4. So we turn our attention from Mini Max to Junior Max. 31 drivers from 11 different nations, representing the Netherlands, Spain, Poland, Germany, Switzerland, the Ukraine, Belgium, Hungary, Great Britain, Lithuania, and Croatia. A very, very tight qualifying session in both groups. And with 31 drivers, they'll also be competing in 3 heats today. And at the end of that, we will decide the intermediate classification for the pre-finals tomorrow. And there have been a few changes in the off-season. Drivers have been switching teams. Drivers have moved up classes. So a whole host of new talent to welcome along from Minimax. And some drivers do occasionally make the jump up from micro straight to juniors and have a bit of a learning curve, a steep one at that. However, some of the drivers here this week, they've been putting in the miles, they've been putting in the kilometers around this circuit. And qualifying was decided courtesy of 2 groups yesterday. And with Group 1 going out first, they were classed as the faster group because their pole sitter, Scott Marsh, is the one that will lead the field away on the front row of the grid. But it was very, very close indeed through a lot of the qualifying, through both of the qualifying sessions. And there is a plethora of colour for those watching at home. Thank you very much for joining us on the official Camp Company GmbH YouTube channel, the official promoter of the event, and live timing courtesy of MW Race Consulting. So, as with the Minimax drivers, for junior Rotax, it will be 7 minutes plus an additional lap for each of their 3 heats today.
This part of this part is not necessary. Okay.
So the green light flashes at the end of the dummy grid, and the 13's to cut. Let's have a look at the starting order. After time qualifying in 2 groups yesterday, it was Great Britain's Scott Marsh, who won the Winter Cup as a Micromax driver 2 years ago. He is joined by Great Britain's Ethan Jeff Hall in the 297 on road 2. Austin Lee now into another full season as a junior Rotax driver, representing Germany. He is on the inside of row number 3 alongside Belgium's Vic Stevens. Enzo Bol from the Netherlands is joined by Denmark's Mikkel Pedersen. Then it's Karel Stout from Switzerland, having spent some time competing in the Swiss RMCs for the last 2 years and winning 2 titles. He starts on the inside of row number 5, following from a drop-down bumper in time qualifying, putting him down 3 positions. He starts 9th and has the Netherlands' Casper Schommans alongside. And it's Vinnie Phillips, Tom Braken, Gustav Zusakovs, Maxim Sachurko, Mies Huben, Thomas Ingram Hill, Maximilian Schreier, Leandro Fischer, Boluet, Tino Sidler completes the top 20. Morgan Knudsen and Colin Vajdi complete the top 11 rows ahead of Lithuania's Tomas Rudokas and Hungary's Patrik Lipovics. Then we've got Alexander Klugel and Alexander Holodonsky. That is row number 13. And completing the 31 strong, it's Oliver Sander from Great Britain, Ismael Fuentes Luque from Spain, Ed Harun. Then we've got Timofil Vladimirov from the Ukraine, and Tommy van der Stoys, who had an engine cut out, containing his qualifying efforts yesterday, starts from 31st on the grid. So current air temperature 12 degrees Celsius. We were hitting the 20s yesterday and all through the majority of this week. So we'll be down to Scott Marsh and Leon Zelenko to be the pace setters for the formation, as the drivers now steel themselves and get ready for battle for 7 minutes plus 1 lap. And now the formation is set. The drivers, all 31 of them, slow to a crawl in the 2x2 side-by-side formation. Out of the final corner, revs rise. We're in the tram lines. We are lights out and off and away. And already Scott Marsh keeping defensive to the inside as they head through into turn number 1 for the first time of Askin. Austin Lee trying to hold on to 5th position as Ethan Jeff Hall trying to make an opportunity of maybe going on to Leon Zelenko. But then it's Aaron Krepsik from Hungary who's up into 2nd, right up close with Scott Marsh, who is leading after the opening skirmish. Down the hill for the first time. And the train that is breaking away, it is 8 carts. So Scott Marsh leads ahead of Aaron Krepsik. A little bit of a run wide there from Leon Zelenko, and Ethan Jeff Hall springs up the inside to take 3rd position. Austin Lee is in tow in the 272 representing Germany. Then we got Vic Stevens in there as well. Leon Zelenko signals to Austin Lee, right, let's go get him. And now Ethan Jeff Hall is not finished yet. He's up the inside to get 2nd off of Aaron Krepsik. And now the chase begins. Marsh is extending a slender lead as they complete lap number 1. Lead between him and Ethan Jeff Hall was just over 2.5 tenths, but Ethan Jeff Hall has closed that gap. Leon Zelenko is now ahead of Aaron Krepsik for 3rd position as Krepsik goes defensive on Austin Lee. And now the lead has changed. Ethan Jeff Hall got up the inside just before the crest of the hill on Scott Marsh. Ethan Jeff Hall, a double race winner at Mulsanne last year in the Euro Trophy when he was doing a dual campaign, racing in the United Kingdom in Minimax, but coming over here and racing as a junior. And Austin Lee now has made his way up through into 4th position. And Aaron Krepsik firing up the inside, mounts the curbs, and Austin Lee keeps it pinned round the outside. Brilliantly done by the German driver from Germany, but Krepsik fires it up the inside on the next right-hander. And a flurry of junior Rotax drivers cross the line to complete lap number 2. Top 3 starting to break away. Ethan Jeff Hall being kept in check by Scott Marsh and Leon Zelenko. That's the top 3 covered by half a second. As Mikkel Pedersen has just got up the inside of Austin Lee for what is now 6th position on the road. Vic Stevens running for Dams Racing. Dams Racing actually sporting a very nice new livery these days. A new change for 2022. Four minutes and 13 seconds to go. Not too far behind Austin Lee, who's currently sitting in 7th position, is Enzo Bol from the Netherlands, who's moved to Stampex Motorsport in the off-season. Running at the top 15, you've got Vinnie Phillips in 13th, Mies Huben in 14th, and Colin Vajdi from Poland running at the top 15. Another lap in the books, and now Ethan Jeff Hall is starting to extend his lead. It's now 3 tenths from Scott Marsh. Leon Zelenko still in third. Krepsik holding off from Stevens at the moment, but the Hungarian coming under significant pressure as they're back up the hill. Then it's down the dip once again, through into the tight right-hander. Then it's a triple right, which takes them up to the crest of the hill, and then down again. The gap between Leon Zelenko and Aaron Krepsik last time round was nearly 6.5 tenths of a second. That gap could be extending. It's depending on how hard Krepsik is going to be pushing. As Austin Lee fires it up the inside of Mikkel Pedersen to retake the position. And then Enzo Bol springs off the proverbial trampoline and goes up the inside of the Dane. Tom Braken now is up into 9th position and has just got past the Netherlands' Casper Schormans. Top three about to cross the line for another lap completed. Lap number 4 in the books. On to lap 5 we go. Krepsik keeping Vic Stevens under pressure, because now Stevens is in 4th, and oh my goodness me, the Belgian going through turn 1 was sideways to the left, and Krepsik nearly had an opportunity to fire it up the inside. Now they're being chased down by Austin Lee. Enzo Bol, Mikkel Pedersen, Tom Braken and Casper Schormans round out the top 10. All 31 drivers are still circulating as we head into the last 2 minutes plus an additional lap of this race. And it's very, very close between Vic Stevens and Aaron Krepsik for 4th position. And a lot of personal bests happening. And what's more, the fastest lap of the race set by Ethan Jeff Hall, 1:03.830. That is fractionally off Scott Marsh's pole position time from yesterday, 1:03.759. We head into the last 90 seconds. And Leon Zelenko has dropped off the back of both Scott Marsh in second and Ethan Jeff Hall, who's leading the race still. As we're on to lap number 6. Vic Stevens soaking up the pressure like a sponge as Aaron Krepsik tries to chase the Belgian down, and Austin Lee is waiting in the wings to pounce. It's been a bit of a difficult race for Karel Staudt so far. The youngster from Switzerland started in 9th, now is in 18th, but is making a resurgence, and he's setting personal best laps in the meantime. 45 to go, plus 1 lap. Now Scott Marsh is going toe-to-toe with Ethan Jeff Hall. As we're going to have 2 more laps once we cross the line. With 34 seconds on the clock to go, and the 2:27. Thomas Ingram Hill has, I've just seen on the Digi flag, has been given a 5-second time penalty. Enzo Bol has got back past Austin Lee for what is now 6th position on the road. And they're trying to chase down Adam Krepsik. The timer hit 0. So this plus an additional lap still to go for the first of 3 junior Rotax heats. So, last lap. Here we go. Who's going to have it this time? Is it going to be Ethan Jeff Hall? Is it going to be Scott Marsh? The gap was just under 3.5 tenths. Scott Marsh needs to start gaining ground on Ethan Jeff Hall to have that opportunity, maybe into the last 2 or 3 corners, to get through and take the race victory. Vinnie Phillips, in the meantime, from the UK, has made it up to 10th position as Tom Braken drops out of the top 10 down to 11th place. As Ethan Jeff Hall takes a look over his right shoulder to see where Scott Marsh is. And the Brit looks comfortable. Down this very fast part of the circuit, which then has a little bit of a kink before a hefty braking zone. They now enter. And Leon Zelenko has been caught by Vic Stevens. Vic Stevens trying everything in his power, but it's going to be Ethan Jeff Hall that takes the first heat for Junior Rotax by just under 0.4 of a second ahead of Scott Marsh, so it's a British 1-2. Leon Zelenko at the flag, held on to third place. The Croatian running with JJ Racing was nearly 1.6 seconds behind Scott Marsh at the checkered, and just 0.2 ahead of Vic Stevens at the flag. Aaron Krepsik from Hungary finished in 5th position ahead of the Netherlands' Enzo Bol. Austin Lee, representing Germany, finished in P7 ahead of Mikkel Pedersen from Denmark, Kasper Schormans from the Netherlands, and Vinnie Phillips, who completes the top 10. Tom Braken from Belgium finished 11th ahead of Colin Vajny. Gustav Susakovs, Boloet and Nies Huben complete the top 15. Thomas Ingram Hill and Karol Stout completes the top 17 ahead of Maximilian Schreier from Germany. Lithuania's Maxim Sochurko and Oliver Sander from the UK completing the top 20. Rounding out the 31 strong, it is Leandro Fischer from Germany, Morgan Knudsen from Poland, Tino Sidler from Switzerland, Alexander Horodonsky from Poland, Ismael Fuentes Luque from Spain, Thomas Rudokas, Tommy van der Stroys, Alexander Klugel, Erharun, and Patrick Lipovics, and then we've also got Timofil Vladimirov from the Ukraine, rounding out 31 strong, all drivers making it to the checkered. So for senior Rotax, you're about to get underway with their first of 6 heats. Each driver will take part in 3 heats out of the 6 here today at Karting Campillos. And based on that, we will have the intermediate classification. We'll see the top 30 go through automatically to the pre-finals tomorrow morning. The remaining drivers, 26 of them, will be battling over the final 6 positions available to put themselves in contention for a spot on the podium, or maybe even the top step for this weekend's Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup. 40 seconds away from our first heat, and each of the senior Rotax heats will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap. So the green light flashes at the end of the dummy grid as 28 senior Rotax drivers head on to the circuit here at Karting Campillos. Let's have a look at your starting grid. On pole position, it's Great Britain's Kai Hunter in the 395 that will have Elia Papacena from Italy in the 303 alongside. Row 2. It's Billericay's Archie Walker from Great Britain in the 391. We'll have Germany's Zino Falke alongside Miska Kaskinen from Finland, and Germany's Joni Maertz round out the top 3 rows ahead of new senior Rotax driver, Germany's Farin Megger in the 376. He's joined by Stéphane Lemonor from France in the 367 on row number 4. Completing the top 10, it's Switzerland's Mario Sidler, and also a new joinee to the senior Rotax ranks, the Netherlands' Jaden Thien. They complete the top 10. Row 6, it's Yashram Jankan, who's finally been let out of getting out of schoolwork and going to do some racing. He's back out on track, and he's joined by last year's Euro Trophy champion, Callum Bradshaw, in the 301. Edward Matthews and Kieran Kay make it an all-British row number 7, ahead of Germany's Linus Hensen, who's a 2-time Rotax Max Challenge German champion in this particular class. Hensen is joined by Vilgot Edqvist, who these days is running with KR Sport. The Swede in the 331 rounds out row 8. And it's Sam Bergstein from the Netherlands, Jere Vajelo Luque in the 342 for Spain. William Christensen and Miro Halika round out the top 20 ahead of Matteo Pianizzola. Finley Harrison from Great Britain, Camille McFarlane, Marcel Lequi, and then we've also got Rodrigo Santos from Portugal. Good to catch up with Mario Novak from Austria this morning. And he's ahead of Simset from Estonia and Michal Bartosuk from Poland. So there is a lot of cloud cover overhead. The temperature is starting to increase. We're up to 13 degrees Celsius. I'm just looking at the cloud cover surrounding the circuit. It's actually quite interesting seeing the viewpoint that I've got here in the commentary box. I can actually see a little bit further past the hills just by the final couple of corners on the circuit, but not far past that, I'm afraid. However, 10 minutes on the clock. It's down to Kai Hunter and Elia Papacena from Italy, Elia Papacena, apologies there, to bring them through out of the final turn. Revs rise, we're in the tram lines. Are we ready? We're lights out, we're off and racing. Good start from both Walker in third and Hunter in pole position as they lead the charge up the hill as it's 2 abreast. There's a bit of barging going on up the hill, but has everyone made it through? They have. So through we go. Hunter leads Walker. Kaskinen looks to have gotten up into 3rd place, so the Finn now ahead. Oh, that looks to be possibly Farin Megger up to 4th. That is the case. And Mario Sidler, I think, might be in close proximity too. Let's have a look. That is indeed. So the German-Swiss combination from JJ Racing. Spoke with Farin Megger a bit earlier on this week, and he was very, very happy with practice. Qualifying, not always his favourite part of the race weekend, but when he gets the opportunity to go racing, then you see a different side of the driver altogether. Some drivers do have difficulty with qualifying, but others just and then they shine during the racing. However, Kai Hunter leads the way after lap 1. Archie Walker just under a 2/10 behind, and now Miska Kaskinen running under the same awning as Kai Hunter, running in the Dan Holland Racing colours. And up the inside goes the Finn on the Brit for second position. Farin Mega now looks to put his nose up the inside of Archie Walker. But the 391 stays resolute, keeps a tight defensive line, stays close to the rear bumper of Miska Kaskinen. Takes a quick glance over the right-hand shoulder, and now Walker puts the boot on the other foot, so to speak, and up the inside he goes of Kaskinen, and now Farin Mega wrestling with the back end of the card as it steps out and manages to throw it up the inside of the 399 from Finland. And now Kai Hunter trying to stretch a little bit of an advantage, but there's absolute bedlam behind, because there are people jostling for position, one of which is Jaden Thien, who's up into 8th, and he's already passed Linus Henson. Henson now in 10th position, courtesy of Callum Bradshaw. Bradshaw now up into 9th place. 7.5 minutes still to go. And the lead has slightly increased between first and second. Kai Hunter now has just over a 3/10 of a second advantage from Archie Walker. So at the moment, as things stand, it's a British 1-2. Other drivers that made it up the order: Kieran Kay up to 13th, William Christensen up to 14th. Papasena, who started on the front row alongside Hunter, has ended up rounding out the top 15 at the moment. Matteo Pianizzolo is also on a charge, the Italian from 54 Squadra Corse, up to 18th. And Girei Vaiello Luque from Monla Competizione up to 20th place. The train behind Kai Hunter has started to expand in terms of numbers. Callum Bradshaw gets past Jaden Thien, neatly done by last year's Euro Trophy champion and the 2020 CIK FIA OK Senior champion, world champion that is. So Bradshaw up to 7th as Ramjankan falls down a couple of places, down to 9th. But Kai Hunter still keeping a hold of the lead, just commanding from the front. A little bit wider out of the right-hander that comes down out of the hill, in comparison with both Walker and Kaskinen. Farin Mega and Mario Sidler have been swapping positions. It's the German that stays out in front of the Swiss driver. Sam Bergstein. So we're coming up towards 30 seconds away from the halfway point of the race, and Miska Kaskinen now gets back past Archie Walker to take second position firmly in his grasp. This is the 399 from Finland. Farin Mega and Mario Sidler have also closed in on the top 3. And Farin Mega starting to pull away to the tune of about 2 or 3 kart lengths as Callum Bradshaw fires it up the inside of the Swiss driver. Last year's senior Rotax Max Switzerland champion. So Bradshaw now finds himself up into what is effectively 5th position. So Bradshaw, a very known quantity in karting, with his skill set, and now has made it up to P5. Steady progression. And getting as many points on, well, as little points on the board, because the higher up you place, the less points you score, and that gives you a better opportunity for getting into the top 30 come the end of today. Kaskinen keeping pace with Hunter, as is Walker. And the top 5 now covered by 1.12 seconds. Callum Bradshaw running out the top 5. Vaiello Luque in the 342 on the red speed chassis, up to 14th position now, ahead of Denmark's William Christensen. Callum Bradshaw has also made his way past in the meantime through on Fahin Mega. So Bradshaw looking to strike early. They come across the line and Kai Hunter still has a 2.5 tenth of a second lead ahead of Miska Kaskinen. Archie Walker has got Callum Bradshaw close to him. Across the line it was close to just 0.3 of a second, but Bradshaw is pretty much there with Walker. Bradshaw will wait and bide his time and strategically position the kart to give him the maximum opportunity for an overtake on Archie Walker. Down into the tight left-hander, into the mid-part straightaway. And Bradshaw is lining up the move, fires it up the inside, and through he goes for third. Walker still keeping with him, though. And Bradshaw now gets his head down. Tries to close in on Kaskinen. With Mega and Sidler running together, holding station at the moment. 2 minutes and 38 seconds plus an additional lap still remain in this race. The first of 6 senior Rotax heats today. So up the hill they go once again. Bradshaw very much there or thereabouts to put a move up the inside of Miska Kaskinen. Through down the straightaway in the mid part of the track. Keeping an eye on the sector times. Callum Bradshaw is near on breaking into the high 19s on the first sector. A 20.010 from the 301. And behind Mega and Mario Sidler, there's and also Edward Matthews, there's a few karts having a bit of a juxtaposition, one of which that's in the middle of it. Black and white warning flag going out to the 373, I believe. Let's just have a quick check. So 373, but also in the meantime, whilst I was looking for that, Callum Bradshaw fired it up the inside of Miska Kaskinen and now takes second position. So the Brit up from 12th, the outside of row 6. When we started racing just 9 minutes ago, now up to second and is closing in on Kai Hunter. And Hunter's lead is evaporating. So it's the 373. We've got a warning flag from race control there. We're into the last 35 or so seconds of the race. And Bradshaw is closing. He's got the hammer pinned down hard. And up into turn 1 they go. Just 0.2 separated the two at the front. And Bradshaw sweeping to the outside, looking to get a bit of momentum carry here. But just be a little bit careful, make sure that Miska Kaskinen does not take the opportunity when it presents itself. At the moment, it does not. We've got this plus an additional lap still to go. So we're on lap number 10. We'll have 11 laps completed come the checkered flag. And Bradshaw firing it round the outside of the hairpin there on Kai Hunter. Callum Bradshaw looks behind and sees Miska Kaskinen. Then right up the back bumper of the Brit going into the sweeping right-hander at the end of the back straightaway. So we're going to go on to the final lap. Archie Walker still there. Bradshaw looks over his right-hand shoulder. It was Jaden Thien that has got a black and white warning flag as Walker looking up the inside of Kaskinen through turn 1. But Walker, who I remember back when he was a junior Rotax at Shennington, round the outside of Oliver Greenall, of all people, at Stratford. But thank you to his dad Darren for reminding me when we were on the same flight. this past Thursday as switchback and a half there from Callum Bradshaw, side by side down the hill, runs Hunter wide, and then all of a sudden Kaskinen and Walker get through, and Hunter's now down to fifth behind Fahin Mega. Fahin Mega looking towards the outside of Archie Walker. Kaskinen trying to thread the eye of the needle going through that left-hand hairpin, and Bradshaw knowing exactly where to put the cart. Two more corners to go, and Walker's now in third place behind Kaskinen. But out of the final corner, checkered flag now waves, and it's the 3:01 of Callum Bradshaw that takes the victory from Miska Kaskinen from Finland. Archie Walker started third, finished third. Kai Hunter ends up finishing fourth, having got past Farin Mega in the last couple of corners. So the German now has to settle for fifth place at the end of it. Top five covered by just under 1.1 seconds. Mario Sidler completes the top six ahead of Edward Matthews, Jaden Thien, Linus Henson and Hildegard Edqvist round out the top 10. In the top 10, and across the line, were covered by just 5.9 seconds. Yashram Jankan in 11th ahead of Sam Bergstein. Then we've got William Christensen, Kieran Kay and Miro Halika completing the top 15 positions. Have a look at the rest of the finishing order. Matteo Pianizzola from Italy in the 3:56 would finish 16th ahead of Elia Papacena in the 3:03, also representing Italy. Yereva Yeloluque from Spain in the 3:42 was 18th ahead of Austria's Mario Novak in the 3:63. The 3:05 of Camille McFarlane from France completes the top 20. Zino Falca, Marcel Lecuy, Finley Harrison, Michael Bartosuk, Yoni Mertz, Rodrigo Santos and Sim Sepp rounding up the 27th finished, and unfortunately on lap number 8 a retirement for France's Stéphane Lemonor in the 3:67. So we now get to the second of the senior Rotax heats out of 6 here at Karting Campillos here in Andalusia in southern Spain. It's race 4 of the meeting, senior Rotax heat 2, groups C and D. Let's have a look at the starting grid. From pole position, it's going to be Hungary's Zsombor Kovács, and alongside him, Daniel Armstrong in the 3:22. Good to catch up with his dad, Alan, earlier on today and also yesterday. David Altleichner, representing Poland by way of South Wales. Welcome back to that man with us as well. João Diniz from Portugal joins the pole on row 2. Thomas Fleming and Janis Diak, row number 3. Nevio Fischer and Conor Jupp round out the top 8 rows. And it's Kai Rilatz and Alberto Furtado Gonzalez in the 390 from Spain rounding out the top 10. Jules Roussel from France and Sean Butcher from Great Britain round out the top 6 rows, ahead of Devian Rost and Ricard Vegvargas from Latvia. Simon Gaspar from France and Nicola Guerra from Italy, row 8. Eloy González Moreno from Spain and Alec Verbaut from Belgium complete the top 9 rows with Maurice Schmeis and Jerko Kolainen rounding out the top 20. Jose Miguel Sanchez Gonzalez and Anthony Boulou complete row number 11. Hugo Page and Paul Christian Hamburg complete the top 12 rows, followed by Luca Colin Schultz from Germany, Georgia's Alexander Abkazava, Mats Johann Overhoff from Germany, and France's Mika Barthélemy complete the 28-strong grid. So 14 rows, 10 minutes, plus an additional lap. So we'll be down to Zsombor Kovács and Daniel Armstrong to bring them into formation. They'll be the ones setting the pace for the rolling start. So the drivers now slowing. The field concertinaing, getting ready into formation to go into racing. Zsombor Kovács on pole, Daniel Armstrong alongside, out of the final corner, into the tram lines. Revs rise, are we ready? We are lights out and off and away. Great start from Armstrong from the outside of the front row to try and get the jump on Kovács. They nearly go side by side, but Armstrong has to relinquish. And it's Outlander that's up the inside, up into P2. And then Thomas Fleming also gets past. So Armstrong down into 4th position. So as they come down the hill for the first time, Outleichner very close to the back bumper of Kovács as they go through the tight left-hander onto the mid-straight. One driver that's making some moves, having dropped down a couple of positions, is 2-time Junior Rotax Euro Trophy champion Kai Rilatz, who earlier on this week announced that he was riding on a Sodi kart chassis. And now he's running in seniors, along with the likes of Fahin Mega and a few other drivers that have moved up to senior Rotax for this season. Oh, there's been a little bit of a touch going through into the second from last corner. A bit further down the order, but at the minute it is Zsombor Kovács, David Altleichner. I think Thomas Fleming has made the move up the inside. The 373 from Great Britain has gotten through. Armstrong keeping in touch in the 322. Nevio Fischer from Germany. There's a little bit of a touch between wheel and front bumper between Altleichner and Fleming going up towards the crest of the hill. Sean Butcher, runner-up in this particular event 2 years ago, is now up to 6th and charging. Butcher looking, he's got Armstrong right in front of him. So the Australian based out of London, running under a UK licence these days. 2-time B&L Karting Series champion. 3rd in the Euro Trophy back in 2020. 4th last season in the overall classification. As the move now happens between Altleichner and Fleming. Butcher tries to get through, but gets a little bit of compromising right there. But however, he's going to put the pedal to the metal. He's got the 3.35 of Connor Jupp just behind. So 7 3/4 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Up the hill they go again, down the slight dip, through the right. Through the right now. Now another right, and then it's another one up at the crest of the hill, down in the hill again, through a sweeping right before a hefty braking zone at the bottom of the descent, through into the tight left-hander. Kovac and Adleshner trying to pull away. Butcher just waiting for the opportunity to pounce past Fleming for third place and then go after the two in front. And Butcher now slides it up the inside. Neatly done by the 3.59 from KL Sports. Up into third goes Butcher. And we've had... right. Right, we've got a red flag situation. And there has been an incident at the top of the hill. Just a quick update that the medical team is on its way, so we will keep you posted as further developments happen.
että sulle oli käynyt jotain.
How you doing? Look, the clip, metal clip. Hey, Damien, do you have a test for us?
Alkaa alusta.
Ei, joo.
Ei, se oli varmaan se viimeisen kierroksen järjestys.
So a big thank you firstly to the medical teams here at the circuit and also the crew here at Circuito Karting Campillos. We have had a red flag stoppage. We are due to restart momentarily. Two drivers, I did notice their numbers. It was the 344 of Luca Colin Scholz and then the 354 of Nicola Guerra, whose carts have been recovered in. The main thing is that as soon as we get any updates, we will inform you. So they will be checked over, make sure everything's okay. So they're just informing the drivers at the moment of what the restart procedure will be, which will be in the positions that they were when we had a red flag stoppage at 6 minutes and 34 seconds to go.
se ei heilu.